look at those buttons and see if they're red or green in front of you, Opie.
Well, I just say things to shock people and get them all energized for the radio program.
You're a shock jock even when the shows are not on.
I sure am, Anthony. I sure am.
You're as shocking as a Con Edison plate. One of those metal plates that they... Haven't you been reading the news? Con Edison plate.
Exactly! The only con is that they're safe.
A doggy got shocked yesterday. A woman was walking her dog, and the dog stepped on one of these Con Edison plates, these metal plates that cover up the holes in the street and sidewalk and stuff. You've walked on them before. Sometimes they're electrified. It's electric. And a dog stepped on it and got shocked.
Good. Did it die?
Actually, no.
Damn it!
I saw his finger on there. But the dog started jumping around, the woman was saying.
Yeah.
The dog was jumping around like crazy on the plate. And so the dog doesn't normally do that because it's on Prozac. The dog
is on Prozac.
Is on Prozac.
Enough with your stupid dogs.
These people treat these animals like... You know, dogs are so easy. You own them. You pet them when they're good. When they're bad, you grab their head, you stick it in the pile of crap, and you smack them with the newspaper. That's it.
I want to start a company, Doggy Daycare. Opie's Doggy Daycare.
Oh, the logo is a big boot going into a liver.
Enough of your stupid dogs. People treat their dogs better than their own family.
With the booties and the sweaters and the baby talk. Oh.
Enough.
Whole front of my building smells like urine because of these stupid dogs.
Really?
They're dropping logs in front of the building and people are picking it up. It's just sickening.
Dude, I gotta tell you, you're the friend there. Bob Kelly has a couple faggy little dogs there.
I like Bob's dogs. They're
little faggy.
They are very faggy, but they're actually very fine animals.
That's the funniest thing about living in New York City. There's people want dogs. They need companionship.
Yeah.
But they live in really small apartments. And so you see these big, huge guys walking these tiny little rat dogs down the road because that's the only dog they can have in their apartments.
You can't have a big dog.
And don't say it's a gay thing because it's not. You can tell these guys would really like a much bigger dog. They just can't, keep one of these bigger dogs in their apartment. So instead of having no dogs at all, they get the little tiny little rats.
Ugh.
And they're walking down the sidewalk with their little rat dog. And
That's
Bob Kelly has
awful.
a couple of those, right?
Little small ones, yeah. Silky Terrier and something else. But the one dog does love me very much, so I like the dogs.
Aw.
I go over there just to pet it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I have to tolerate that stupid fat Samoan, but I go over there just to pet the animals.
I've always enjoyed, in my youth, having a dog, but I don't like other people's dogs. I don't like going over people's houses that have dogs, because it's that goddamn head in the crotch thing, or they're jumping up and down like crazy, and they got to jump on you. And the owner of the dog is like, oh, don't worry, he's fine. No, it's not fine. He's jumping all over me. Get the slobbering mess off. Then your hands smell like dog.
And his little lipstick thing pops out every once in a while.
Oh, well, there's some good with the bad.
Yeah. And he humps your face for a half hour, and you keep going, get off me, get off me.
Red racket, red racket, red racket.
You just help out a little bit.
Oh. Those videos online are just the worst. Download those animal things. Ugh.
Speaking of pets, I mentioned it yesterday. I guess this would be a good time to talk about the mouse in my apartment.
Ah.
I caught the mouse, Anthony. I caught the mouse.
Did you kill him?
Well, here's the deal. As you know, I've had a mouse living in my apartment. I only noticed this a couple months ago, but I couldn't find the sucker.
A mouse in an apartment with no food in it. What is that about?
Well, I decided to starve the mouse out because I couldn't get him. So I started really keeping the kitchen nice and clean and not leaving things out. I discovered the mouse because my brother and his family stayed in Manhattan with me for a few days, and they left all their food out on the counter in the kitchen, like granola type things and like trail mix and
mouse food.
Pretty much mouse food. And one day after the show, I walk into my kitchen. There's a mouse just having a field day with all the food. So since then, I've been trying to keep the kitchen nice and clean so the mouse doesn't eat. Well, over the weekend, I discovered my bread was the only thing that was out.
Yeah.
had a hole in the back, completely through both bags, because they double wrap the bags pretty much, and then a piece of bread just completely demolished. I'm like, oh my God, this mouse is getting really desperate. Okay, and it's been showing itself a lot lately because it really needs food. So I'm at my apartment on Monday with my brother, and I'm sitting down eating a little lunch and just talking to my brother, and I turn to my left and I look down, and the mouse is just looking up at me, staring at me, and then kind of climbing up some pillows that I had on the floor, kind of climbing up toward me because it's desperate for food at this point.
So he's coming to you looking like, please feed me?
Honestly, that's what I think was going on. So then I kind of like went to kind of grab him. Well, yeah, brave me. Whatever. I tried to trap him, and he ran back into the kitchen under
What do you use?
Under the refrigerator. No, it gets better. So then my brother leaves, and I'm on the computer, and my computer's next to one of my TVs, and I'm always checking out the news while I'm online, and I look up at the TV, and there's the mouse, like on the shelf with the TV, just kind of looking at me. I'm like, what? This is a psychotic mouse, man.
Scoping you out.
So I'm like, it's time to get rid of the mouse. So I spent like a half hour to 40 minutes, like kind of trapping it.
Yeah.
I was able to keep it on that shelf and keep it in the back of the shelf because it was scared and stuff.
How do you trap them, though? What are you using?
Nothing at this point. I just knew if I just made a movement toward him, he was going to go to the back of the shelf. So he's kind of in the shelf area where all the, the cable boxes and everything.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of keeping him there, trying to figure out how I'm going to trap him, get a towel or a garbage pail. I don't know. And then the mouse comes out, and it's kind of a cute mouse. Gray and stuff.
Nice R, sure.
Didn't look too disease-ridden or dirty. So I'm starting to think I'm a pretty lonely guy these days. I'm thinking...
A mouse and a Java log?
I'm thinking that I could maybe keep this mouse as a pet.
Uh-huh.
Put a string on the tail, maybe?
Yeah, I'm thinking, maybe at this point the mouse is so hungry I could get a piece of cheese or a piece of bread or some nuts or something.
In retrospect, lighting the match was a bad idea.
And I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I should just, keep this mouse and train it and then just let it run around my apartment as my pet.
Yeah, unless
I swear to God,
this is
going. Yeah, exactly. So this is going through my head, and then I'm like, you lonely freak. What are you, stupid? So all of a sudden the mouse just darts for freedom and jumps off the shelf, which is about 4 feet high, and just leaps about 3 feet. Ugh. Takes off, and then it's running around the basement area of my apartment, and then runs under a doorway into a closet.
Oh, nice.
So then I finally, make the long story short, I mean, it took a while, but I finally got a towel on it and had it in the towel. And I'm like, I can't kill the damn thing. I'm a wimp when it comes to, like, animals and crap. So well,
can I ask you
unless you're a dog that's eating my prime rib dinner. What?
How did you get the mouse out of the closet? Did you comment on its open shirt and little small hat?
Very good. So then I got the mouse in the towel, and I'm thinking, I can't kill it, but it has to leave my apartment.
Right.
So I dump it outside. And it was literally, Monday, 11, 12 degrees, whatever it was.
Very cold.
And I drop it on the ground, probably sentencing it to death. But I'm thinking, look, hey, dude, if you can figure this out, good luck to you. But
you might actually come back.
That's what my brother was saying. He goes, these mice, they know how to get back.
They kind of do sometimes. They know where they are. They a good sense of smell. Find that apartment again and just run back in. So.
And my brother, who's passed out on the couch because I had to pick him up because he had a colonoscopy, and nothing's going on with him. He just had a checkup,
Yeah.
And I didn't even know this when you get one of these colonoscopies these days, or colonoscopy, right? Compy. They knock you out, and you need a family member or somebody to pick you up from the hospital. It's like a law, I guess. So I went and got him and brought him back to my place, and he's out cold, but he wakes up just enough to go, "Do you think that's the only mouse in your apartment? If you think so, you're nuts," and then just falls back to sleep.
That's true, too. A lot of times, more than one mouse.
Well, it's been a couple of days. I haven't seen any signs of any other mouses.
No droppings?
No, a little bit on the counter before I got this one out of there.
Mouse crap. That's what you can see. How about the mouse pee? That's just everywhere. Eek. Oof.
So
kill them all.
So that's the end of that little
just had him in the towel and wrapped it against the sink. Throw the towel and mouse away.
Kind of missed the little fella though, Anthony.
Do ya?
Yeah. He's been showing himself a lot in the last week or two, and I kind of miss him.
At first,
I was scared essless. I mean,
Those little beady eyes.
Well, you see any little like critter in your apartment or your house, it freaks you out a little bit. I don't care if the mouse is tiny, you know, it freaks you out.
It just surprises you when they jump out.
Yeah, when you just walk into your kitchen to get a glass of water or what have you, and you see it on the counter sitting there, you get freaked out at first.
I had one run right over my foot once.
Ugh.
And yeah, I let out a bitch scream. Just a bitch scream. Whoa! Awful. Felt completely emasculated. They scare you. They kind of jump out. You don't know what it is.
My brother was telling some stories. I mean, before he started doing well with his career, he lived on the east side, way uptown, in a really crappy apartment. There were so many rats in his apartment that they made it a sport. Like, they were just killing rats with like frying pans and stuff. No joke. I mean, they would just go off.
Yeah.
You know. Ugh. And blood everywhere, because, I mean, they're just animals. I mean, they were a bunch of rugby players.
Yeah.
And they almost got excited. It was almost like a sport. All of a sudden, the call would come out, rat, and they would all get into position, get their weapons, and just go hunting in their own apartment.
There are a lot of rodents in this city, man.
Oh, dude, you can't take the subway without seeing one almost every day.
No. There are a bunch of these little parks, not like parks where people really sit and do things, but these little fenced-off park areas between streets and stuff to kind of look nice. And one of them, I guess it was up by 72nd Street, people used to throw birdseed around to feed the pigeons around this little park area, and the pigeons never came there to eat it because the rats, these now very well-fed rats, were just running rampant.
72nd and what? That might be the place me and Voss used to go. Right by Broadway?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
where me and Rich used to stop.
Isn't that near the subway there?
Yep.
It's new, but they gutted that part. But he's talking about it's like a little. It's between two blocks that separate.
Exactly.
And we would stop and put Reese's peanut butter cups out, and then sit in his car and just watch the rats come out and eat it.
You know what? It was a lot of vegetation in there.
Yep.
So you couldn't really see the rats in the park, but you would see the vegetation moving.
Oh my God! Really?
Droves, and then occasionally rats would come flying out of it, grab whatever they could on the sidewalk, and run back into the vegetation.
Wow!
Frightening. Imagine tossing someone into there.
The rats would probably just scatter because Washington Square Park, which I walk by a lot, which is a pretty large, it's a couple blocks park in the village. I see them every night when I walk by, and again, you'll see the foliage moving.
Oh, it's creepy.
And they'll run out right in front of you sometimes. It's like 3, 4 in the morning when it's nice.
Big, muscular.
Big
like
rats.
You see their rear legs, they're muscular rats. That is frightening.
They don't bother you.
A strong rat. They just nibble at children laying in their beds.
Good. That's fine. One less little rotten thing to cry on a plane if his lips are chewed off.
You know, you brought back a memory. I don't know if I've ever told this story on the air, but you talk about like throwing someone into the brush with the rats and stuff, right? Well, growing up on Long Island, I was really into water skiing, and all the little harbors. I mean, you did your jet skiing in probably all the same harbors,
Huntington, Centerport. Yeah.
And in the summer there, the blues come into these harbors, right? And the blues come into the harbors because they're following the bunker. You know what bunker are?
They're like minnows or something.
No, they're big. The bunker, I think they could get up to almost a foot,
really?
maybe a little less than a foot. They're a big bait fish that the blues love, and they pretty much don't have teeth, or if they do, they're really, really small. They can't really do much damage, okay? But when you're water skiing in these harbors, especially like late afternoon in the summer when it's really hot and the tide's coming up, you could see schools of bunker. There's and there's so many that there's barely water. There's just there's just a cluster of bunker, and the blues are there because they're jumping out of the water. That's the only. I guess that's the only way
they're feeding.
Yeah, they're just flipping out. Well, when we used to water ski, we used to have a lot of fun, and we would try to drop the skier in the middle of the school bunker. And I was skiing once, and Billy Bertram, God, an old friend, was driving the boat. Dropped me right in the middle of a school of bunker. You want to be freaking freaked out beyond belief. Yeah. They were just, bouncing into my body, hitting me as I'm sitting there waiting for the boat to turn around and get me.
That's real creepy.
Dude, screaming like, get me the F out of here, just losing my mind. Losing my effing mind.
Did you like all of a sudden your friend was next to you and he flipped over and there was no bottom half? The bunker had eaten him from the waist down.
I'll never go water skiing again.
Just creepy though, as they're banging into you.
Opie's in the water, bunker in the water, our bunker.
And the creepy part about it the fishermen and all that told us that if they're carrying on like that, it means there's blues underneath them.
Yeah.
And the blues will do
they
damage.
Can nip at you.
Oh, they'll do damage.
Blues are sharks?
Oh, my God.
What?
Were they sharks, blues, or they're just big fish?
No. Blues.
And you hear Opie with his horrible high-pitched screaming and hollering. Bunker comes up, little beady eyes roll back white, lifeless eyes like a doll's eyes. Come in and kind of annoy you.
Yeah, well.
Oh, man. That is creepy, though. There's monsters under that water, man. I always loved jet skiing. Really did. Years ago, was out there every day. But when you get thrown off of that thing and you got to swim back to it, all I could think of was, oh, my God, there's monsters in this water.
Yeah,
monsters that I can't see that in a second is going to bite my leg.
Too bad there wasn't a porch there for you to run under and hide.
Monsters.
Oh, dude. Jaws ruined that for just everybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely everybody. I believe before Jaws came out, people would just jump in the harbors and the water and think nothing of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing of it. But you're so right. When you're in the middle of a harbor and you fall off a jet ski or water skiing and you're just sitting there by yourself waiting for the boat to come around, it is just, you know what? I think everyone will agree just about it. It's just a creepy feeling. You're like,
what's worse?
What can I see right now?
Right.
They could see me.
What's worse, not being able to see or being like down in the Bahamas where you can see what's down there?
Right.
Because I don't know, both of them are creepy as hell. You look down in the Bahamas and you're swimming around and it's like, I could see everything. I'm seeing fish.
But Anthony,
if something big comes up here, I'm just gonna crap myself.
I'll answer. I would rather see because I've done the snorkeling and scuba diving and all that.
Right.
I've seen some crazy things scuba diving.
You want to know if a Frenchman's coming at you with his fists?
I've seen crazy stuff scuba diving, but you feel better because you could see it.
Yeah.
We saw a whole school of barracuda and all sorts of things that. If someone told you that that was down there but you couldn't see it,
right.
It'd be kind of creepy.
Let me tell you something, though. Scuba diving's different. When you're down there with them, you kind of, not like that you have an advantage or you're on equal footing with the beasts, but you kind of feel better that you have the mask, you can see much better, you're breathing underwater,
yeah.
And you're with them, you're amongst them. When you're swimming and your head and shoulders is popped out above the water and you don't know what's going on underneath, or even if you can see, you are completely at their mercy.
Yeah, I was just answering your question. I mean, it's creepier because you can't see what's down there.
Yeah.
And then there could be nothing, I've gone on boat trips from Rochester, New York to Canada with Brother Weeze, one of my heroes and really good friend, does radio up in Rochester. And in the middle of the lake, he'll just stop the boat, freshwater lake, and we'll jump in. And
lakes are even creepier, by the way.
Yeah, we would do these weekend boat trips, and there's no way to really shower. So what we would do is we would just stop in the middle of the lake, and supposedly Lake Erie just drops down like, I don't know, like half a mile. I mean, it's
very deep.
It's ridiculously deep. Bunch of people on the boat, by the way. Don't turn this into another Javalog story. And then he would have all sorts of shampoo and body wash soaps and stuff.
Yeah.
Because we're going to Canada and maybe, do dinner or whatever. And we would just kind of quickly rinse off in the lake.
Doesn't that defeat the purpose of soap?
Huh?
If you're rinsing off in the Lake Erie?
Well, we would go in there and shampoo, and the water is really fresh.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't drink it, obviously, but it's fresh enough to get a quick shower in because it's fresh water. It's not like the Long Island Sound. It's salt water, which is a nightmare.
Nasty.
But so we would jump in, and you jump off the boat, and you're even scared to, like, jump in and dive.
Yeah.
Knowing that it drops down like a half a mile. It's just so creepy and so dark and black.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a fun thing. Hey, we'll go for a swim in the middle of the lake, and you're just creeped out. You want to stay within 2 feet of the boat.
Yeah.
You venture out 10, 15 feet, which is nothing if you think about the lake and everything, but you feel like you're a mile away from the boat at that point.
You can't think about that stuff when you're out there. The second you start thinking about it, you freak yourself out, and then you do that panic swim to whatever safety there is, a boat or the shore or something. I've done that where you're just out there and it's like, oh, this is nice, the gentle bobbing and, the waves are nice, you hear the water and the sun is hitting you and you're like, this is so cool, this is, nice and warm, and there's something under there. I think I felt something brush my leg. And then you lose your mind. You feel something brush your leg. You can't get your legs out of the water.
And then you get back on the boat, and why are you back in the boat already? I was getting
coming back for a beer.
Yeah, I was getting cold.
You ever have a dragonfly buzz your head when you're in a lake? There's nothing worse than dragonflies. They're just creepy and awful.
Yeah, well, then you go underwater. And then when you pop up, he's right there waiting for you.
Yeah.
But then I wanted to kind of confront my fear, so I try to do a dive off the boat.
Yeah.
And just knowing maybe I went 10, 15 feet down tops, and I'm just out of my mind, scared when I pop up. Get me back on the boat.
I'm an underwater.
And you try to open your eyes, and it's
faggot.
just completely dark. You're like, what? This stinks.
Yeah, you're forced to open your eyes. I gotta see something. I can't see nothing.
Right.
I can't see. Ah! Something touched my leg.
And I know there's no whales in fresh water, relax. But for the story, when you dive like that, you have no idea what could be literally a foot in front of you.
Oh, imagine just pounding into some big beastie
thing. You're like, is something just checking me out that's literally a foot away? I have it's just the worst.
There are harmless fish that can be, 6 feet long. These big groupers. You ever see these things?
Yeah.
They're huge. They look like big bass, and they're giant, and they're in the water. And if I was swimming around and saw this harmless thing swimming, I would lose my mind. I would drown right there because I would just go, fly. I would freak out. And it's harmless. And some people, you see them, they go up and pet them. No, sorry. Ain't going to happen.
Ain't going to happen. So
petrified.
We went off on
what a faggot.
We went off on a weird tangent there. Let's say hi to Mike in PA. Mike, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing, Jimmy Robinson?
Hello, Mike. How
Go Eagles!
Got a cape on and
That's
everything.
right, buddy. Hey, I was wondering if Opie, when you were trying to catch that mouse, if he said stop.
Did you teach him to talk like Bernie with his squirrels?
Yeah, I was thinking about Bernie. I was thinking that I've really become a loner. I don't know what happened. I used to have a lot of friends and was very social, but lately I'm just a loner.
Were you working on your anti-gravity machine?
Isn't he coming in with that soon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His levitation machine.
I was thinking, I swear to God, I was thinking maybe I should make this mouse my pet. Have something to do after the show.
That mouse must have hated your apartment. No furniture to hide behind.
Oh,
She's gonna run along the walls with the wires.
It's getting better. It's getting better.
It's an awful apartment for a mouse or a guest.